John Lindstrom drops bombshells about his General Hospital return as Kevin Collins. Port Charles has weathered storms, kidnappings, surprise pregnancies, haunted hospitals, mob wars, DNA swaps, and resurrected villains, but nothing electrifies fans quite like the return of a legacy character who carries both history and danger in every step. So when John Lindstrom, beloved for his layered, haunting dual portrayals of Dr. Kevin Collins and the diabolical Ryan Chamberlain, broke his silence in a jaw-dropping interview, the fandom erupted. "Kevin is coming back," John teased, "but not the Kevin you think you know." And with that one line, thousands of speculations ignited. Rumors swirled. Whispers multiplied. Theories exploded across forums like wildfire. But nothing could prepare fans, or Port Charles, for the devastating, shocking, deeply psychological storyline that John Lindstrom hinted at. This is the inside narrative, the creative expansion, the exploring what John could have meant, and what happens the moment Kevin Collins steps back onto GH's canvas. The story begins not in Port Charles but in a quiet Los Angeles studio. John Lindstrom, calm as always, sits under the interview lights, that familiar gaze both kind and mysterious. The interviewer asks the question everyone wants to know. "You've been off-screen for a while. What brings Kevin back?" John smiles. Not the warm Kevin Collins smile. The ambiguous one. The one where fans squint at the screen and whisper, "Is that Kevin? Or Ryan?" John leans forward. Kevin returns with secrets, dangerous ones. And someone in Port Charles is about to learn a truth they never expected. He drops another bombshell. The past isn't done with Kevin. And neither is Ryan. Gasps. Shock. Cue chaos online. But what did he mean? Does this imply Ryan is alive? Is Kevin experiencing a psychological break? Has someone tampered with Kevin's mind? Is a new villain tied to the Collins legacy? The actress playing Laura reportedly read the script and gasped out loud. The writers teased a devastating revelation that would forever alter the core of the Collins family. And with that, the stage is set for Kevin's turbulent, emotional, and terrifying return to Port Charles. It's a stormy night. Thunder cracks over the harbor. Waves slam into the pier. Wind rattles the windows of the Metro Court. Inside, Laura Collins is standing perfectly still, her breath caught in her throat as she stares at a message on her phone. "Arriving tonight. We need to talk." A Kevin. She hasn't heard from him in weeks. No warnings. No calls. Not even a voicemail. Just a disappearance that even she, Police Commissioner Max Scorpio, and half the WSB couldn't explain. But now, Kevin was coming home. Except something in Laura's chest twists, sharp and uneasy. Because she can feel it. The hospital corridors are quiet when Kevin arrives. His footsteps echo. His expression unreadable. His presence heavier, darker. Epiphany is the first to see him. She stops mid-stride. "Dr. Collins? Are you all right?" Kevin lifts his head slowly. "Yes," he answers. But his voice is lower. Cooler. Detached. Epiphany shivers, something she has never done around Kevin. He walks past her, straight toward his old office. And when he closes the door, he exhales. Not in relief, but in exhaustion. And fear. He looks into the mirror. His reflection looks back, but the eyes seem layered. Not sinister but conflicted. Kevin whispers, "You shouldn't be here." And faintly, like a memory trying to claw its way out, a voice hides beneath his own. "Oh, but I am. And I always will be." Kevin clenches his jaw. "Ryan is dead. You're not real." But the voice laughs. "If you were so sure, you wouldn't still hear me." Laura finds Kevin at home, sitting in the dim light of their living room. He doesn't smile. Doesn't stand. Doesn't reach for her. He simply says, "Laura, something happened to me." She sits beside him, her hand gently covering his. "What is it?" Kevin swallows hard. "I didn't just disappear. I wasn't just away. I was taken." The air leaves Laura's lungs. He explains slowly, painfully. A rogue faction of the WSB, connected to Victor Cassadine, had captured Kevin after Ryan's autopsy. They believed Ryan had hidden information inside his own mind, memories buried so deeply only someone with an identical neurological makeup could retrieve them. Someone like Kevin. So they used Kevin in a horrifying experiment. Sensory manipulation, psychological interrogation, memory dissecting procedures, to force his brain to recall anything Ryan ever knew. Laura trembles. "Kevin, Tell me they didn't.
But Kevin nods.
They made Ryan's mind a part of mine.
Laura covers her mouth to hold back a sob.
The WSB grafted fragments of Ryan's memories, sights, sounds, instincts, into Kevin's unconscious.
Not turning him into Ryan, but forcing Kevin to live with shadows of Ryan's past. Horrifying. Traumatizing. Unpredictable. A storm inside his mind. Kevin whispers. I can hear him sometimes, Laura.
Not as a hallucination, but as a memory.
Bombshell number 1. And it's only the beginning.
Kevin's next words nearly knock Laura to her knees. There's something else.
Something the WSB discovered.
Something Ryan never told anyone.
Laura's heart stops.
What did they find?
Kevin looks at her, eyes heavy with dread. Ryan had a child. And they are alive. Laura staggers backward. Kevin continues.
Years ago, during one of Ryan's disappearances, he had a relationship under an alias. The woman became pregnant. She fled once she learned who he was, and kept their child hidden. The WSB traced the DNA, confirmed the match, and left Kevin with the burden of knowing.
Laura whispers. Who? Where?
How old are they?
Kevin's jaw tightens. I don't know.
The WSB refused to tell me, said the information was classified. But then he admits.
Laura feels her world tilt. Another Chamberlain. In her city.
Unaware of the darkness in their DNA.
This revelation alone could devastate half the town. But Kevin isn't finished. Not by a long shot.
News spreads fast. Too fast.
Lucy faints at the Metro Court when she overhears Mac talking about Kevin's return.
Ava panics, convinced Ryan has somehow returned from the grave. Esme, still struggling with her fractured memory and guilt over her past, spirals in fear.
What if I'm not the only one?
What if Ryan has more children like me? Meanwhile, Trina adamantly supports her.
Esme, you're not your father's sins. And you never will be. But the tension is unbearable.
Half the town fears Ryan's shadow still lurking. The other half fears Kevin may not be stable. And a select few, Tracy, Ava, even Sonny, worry that a new Chamberlain could mean danger. But the biggest wave hits when Kevin holds a press conference at GH. He tells the truth, or at least, the part the world can handle. I was forced to undergo involuntary cognitive experiments, Kevin explains. I am mentally stable, but I am recovering. And I ask for privacy.
Reporters erupt. A voice in the crowd shouts.
Is Ryan Chamberlain alive?
Kevin freezes. Ryan's voice whispers inside him. Go on. Tell them. Let me out. Kevin's hands tremble. Laura grips his arm. He steadies himself, forces out the words. No. Ryan is dead. And he is never coming back. But inside his mind, Ryan laughs.
Days later, Kevin returns to his office at GH.
He opens the door and freezes. Because someone is sitting in his chair.
A young adult, maybe mid-20s, dark eyes, cold smile, a face eerily reminiscent of Ryan's. Hello, Dr. Collins, the stranger says. Or should I say, Uncle Kevin.
Kevin's blood runs cold. You.
The stranger leans forward, smirking.
I'm Ryan's child. And I know everything.
The Chamberlain heir, going by the name Rylan, reveals the horrifying truth.
He wasn't just hidden. He was waiting. Watching. Studying Port Charles.
Ryan had communicated with him for years, secretly guiding him, shaping him.
Preparing him. Now, he has come to claim his father's unfinished business. But unlike Ryan, Rylan is calm. Rational. Cold.
Deadly in a modern, intelligent way.
Port Charles fears the monster, Rylan says with a chilling smirk.
But monsters evolve.
Kevin realizes the truth. Ryan may be dead, but he left behind something far more dangerous. And then Rylan leans in. You hear him, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. Kevin stiffens. You're unstable, Kevin says.
You need help.
Rylan laughs softly. No, Uncle.
You do. The WSB turned you into a living archive of my father's mind.
Kevin's pulse spikes.
Rylan's final words before he disappears into the night.
I'm going to finish what my father started. And I'll use you to do it. Kevin breaks, finally, in Laura's arms. He tells her everything. The voice. The experiments. Rylan. The threat against the city.
Laura refuses to let fear win.
You are not Ryan, You are not what they did to you.
You are Kevin Collins, the man I love. Kevin finally collapses into her embrace, sobbing.
But Laura's strength hides a growing dread. Because she knows what must come next. They need help.
Real help.
And fast. She calls Anna. She calls Mac. She calls Sonny. Port Charles unites not against a mob threat. Not against a Cassadine. But against the return of the Chamberlain darkness.
With the city on alert, Kevin reveals one last secret, the darkest one of all.
During the WSB procedures, they didn't just implant Ryan's memories.
They awakened something inside Kevin he never knew existed.
A darkness. A hidden trauma. A piece of his own childhood long suppressed.
A part of him that was closer to Ryan than he ever wanted to admit.
Laura, he whispers.
I'm not just fighting Ryan's voice. I'm fighting my own. Laura stares at him, heart shattered.
Kevin's knees buckle.
I don't know if I can win. Laura cups his face, trembling but fierce.
Yes, you can.
Because you're not fighting alone. Kevin breaks down, truly, fully, for the first time.
Because he knows.
The real battle isn't with Ryan.
Or Rylan.
Or the WSB.
It's with himself.